All right, my name is Dylan Howell.
My name is Phoenix Fitz.
My name is Riley Aldaney.
My name is Gavin Zeppel.
And we are presenting the dangers of nuclear energy. Our problem is that nuclear waste overflow in America. Currently, there's no federal storage reserve for nuclear waste, and the overflow is just being kept at plants. This is costing nuclear companies millions of dollars. Next slide. Some possible ramifications of this are that a natural disaster or terrorist attack could happen, and nuclear waste can cause radiation in the area that it is. This is in fact what happened in Fukushima when an unforeseen natural disaster caused a nuclear disaster. According to a biologist who worked at the site, Stephen Maggie, the Fukushima nuclear complex went on to become the worst man-made engineering disaster in all of human history. This graph, it shows our spent fuel pod capacity over the past couple decades, and it keeps going up, yet we are not increasing our storage availability. So our first solution to this problem is a waste disposal plant in a mountain. This idea was first considered and proposed by the U.S. government in 1987. The planned site was Yucca Mountain. However, they never followed through. So some pros of this would be that there is zero chance for for a terrorist attack or a environmental disaster to harm people because it's deep underground, and there would be provided space for all the nuclear waste. Some limitations of this are that that we would still run out of storage place for the waste, so it's not perfect, and it costs a lot of money to fund. Some cons are that it is high cost and it has massive physical land disturbance. And some limitations of this is that the government would need to follow through this time, unlike in 1987. Next
The
slide.
second solution is to repurpose nuclear fuel. Nuclear missile silos and other nuclear fuel operations have been collecting dust with nuclear fuel not being used for anything. The U.S. currently possesses about 9,600 nuclear warheads, which it keeps in silos scattered throughout the United States. One plant in South Carolina is expected to mix at least 34 tons of pure plutonium in 8,500 nuclear warheads until 2016. In addition, 9 tons of weapons-grade plutonium will be disassembled from warheads and released for civil nuclear fuel by the U.S. government. The pros of this are that it does not require more mining of materials and purification of uranium. However, it does cost a large sum of money to be able to transfer the fuel from nuclear missiles to civilian reactors. This will dispose of thousands of nuclear silos and reduce the cost it takes to operate them. But it is limited by the time it takes to recycle nuclear fuel. And, for example, if France spent fuel from that country's 58 nuclear power plants is shipped to a recycling facility at Cap La Haye, overlooking the English Channel, where it sits and cools in demineralized water for 3 years, reported by Forbes. 3 years is a while for nuclear fuel to be ready for reuse in another facility. It's not to mention the fact that it won't improve renewability or wastewater.
Another solution is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is the most viable solution, and here's why. First, as CNN reports, it has limited clean energy source of power, making it have high efficiency and 4 times more likely to produce as much energy as uranium fission. As the WNO, or the World Nuclear Organization, reports, it occurs in deuterium in natural seawater and then produces thereon. Next, it has a low cost. ITR says that deuterium can come from all forms of water, while tritium can be from the earth and from lithium. So it has these capabilities of being found easily, first of all, and not in creating tons of energy, but more so like it fixes the problem of having nuclear fission. It doesn't create large amounts of waste because as ITR farthers to go on, materials are recycled and reused in 100 years, making it have no high activity or long-lived nuclear waste. So unlike these sources of nuclear fission, it does stop waste faster than it would instead of burying it under a mountain. creating the solution way more viable. And finally, the IAEA states that deuterium comes from 1 in 6,700 hydrogen atoms, and lithium comes from the Earth's crust. DT fusion is an inexhaustible source of energy for global energy requirements. And finally, it is a clean source of energy. As Futurism reports that it is a clean energy with virtually zero carbon emission and isn't seasonal like solar or wind energy. So it has these capabilities, unlike fission, to create energy that is easy for everyone to get and produces large amounts of energy without polluting the environment and with taking resources from out of the earth and water. Next, the cons. So what is the problem with nuclear fission? Unlike other energies where you can point out here are the problems, the problem with nuclear fusion is that it's only based in reality. Now, researchers in England and all of Europe have been trying to find this, as long as researchers that have been going from America to England have been trying to figure out how to create this power. But the problem is that it's still not been created yet. It has only been created on a small scale. So now what many researchers and scientists are trying to do is create this on a larger scale. And by doing this, you'd be creating large amounts of fuel. But currently, it'll only be viable until 2030. But more so, it's only a theory, but needs lots of research to be done, as Caltech says. But it does have high efficiency if it were to be created, and that is one of the implications of it. First, it creates high amounts of energy. As we reported earlier, how much energy it creates. It also has uncomparable high impacts of sustainable energy. As Engineering Challenges reports that it could in principle provide a major sustainable source of energy in the future. More so, The Guardian follows up by saying that people have to realize that it could be, if they want a breakthrough, that it could provide energy for millions of 10 years. If it just created in 10 or 20 years is nothing. So you can take the 10 of 20 years and weigh them against the millions of years of how much energy we put. And the 10s and 20s or years will be way more important than more so anything else. And finally, as CNN reports, imagine a world provided by cheap, safe, clean, virtually limitless sustainable fuel source, such as water. If fuel and energy are cheap and available to all nations, that reduces global political tensions. If our energy comes from a clean burning fuel source, that reduces air pollution. And that is nuclear fusion.
So in conclusion, the United States is wasting a lot of money on this problem and is also not trying to solve the problem at the same time, which is harming the United States citizens. But the solutions for this problem would be really costly and would have detrimental consequences on the United States economy if put in place. But this problem cannot continue to be pushed aside and needs to be handled as soon as possible. Thank you.
There is hope for this problem, however, as the Union of Concerned Scientists have come together and stated that the storage of spent fuel pods at nuclear power plants have become dangerously overcrowded. The Union of Nuclear Scientists have been successful in the past in providing a spotlight for issues such as global warming, and hopefully can bring this problem to the forefront of U.S. politics.
Taking all the solutions in together, the best solution would be nuclear fusion because it provides the sustainable fuel that we need, along with eliminating nuclear fission because it can provide 4 times as much as energy as the current uranium fission is. And for all these reasons, nuclear fusion is the solution to our energy and the solution to the problem, like we give you, of currently nuclear waste. So for all...
That is our presentation.
They're just trying to waste time.
Yeah, after Gavin was done, you guys are pretty much done. There's
Yeah,
no
we
reason
were.
to add there.
Yeah.
Adding time doesn't help.
It was at like 7:38.